The following presentation is brought to you by kmmedia.pro. Please visit kmmedia.pro for more information. Now stay right where you are as we present. Welcome to Positive Talk Radio, evolving ideas, one conversation at a time. Great guests, dynamic stories and interviews, plus new thoughts on a wide range of topics and concepts. I hope that you'll hang with me, Kevin McDonald, my friends, and of course, you. As together we work to understand why we are all here and what we can do to make our world a better place for all of us. To be happy, be kind, and live in peace together. Yep, that's Positive Talk Radio. Another episode of Positive Talk Radio. I've got a great guest for you today, and you don't know that yet, but I'm going to share that with you now on who we have and what she does and how impactful she can be to you if you'd like to work with her. And even if you don't want to work with her, she still can be impactful for you. Her name is Alyssa Hawn, and she's with me. That's her right there. Yep, I know that face anywhere. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks, Kevin.
It's great to have you here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to talk to someone who does the type of work that you do. It's very comprehensive. It's very body, mind, spirit, and you have a direct connection to guides and sources on the other side that can help people understand a little bit more about their situation and actually work to do something about it. Have I misstated that in any way?
No, I think that was pretty good. I'm excited to get into the specifics of it.
Me too. Just pretty good. I thought that was really
It was decent. No, it was good, Kevin.
That's all I can ask for at my age is decent. You know, it's like, that's just kind of the way it goes. But you are very talented, and let's talk about that a little bit, because you weren't always thinking that you were that talented. When did you discover your gifts, and what brought it about?
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. I was living a life that I absolutely hated. I was very sick. I had a lot of chronic illness, including an autoimmune related disorder called Interstitial Cystitis, which is, I don't wish it upon anyone. Basically, you have to go to the bathroom, you have to pee like every 15 minutes. The urge is constant. It's often painful, and I wouldn't sleep. I was irritated all the time. I had a newborn that I was also dealing with. I was in a marriage that wasn't right for me. I was in a job that I couldn't stand.
Boy, you had a lot of fun back then, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. And I didn't mention I also had chronic acne. I also had osteoarthritis. I had postpartum depression. You know, I was a mess. And there was a day when I went to go get a test on my bladder, and I knew the test was going to come back negative, that nothing would be wrong, because I'd already been through dozens of tests showing me that I had nothing wrong with me. And I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I realize I'm going to have to do something about it. I have to take my health into my own hands. There is no way that a doctor is going to help me at this point. It is up to me. And so I prayed to a God that I didn't even really believe in at the time, and just asked for direction. And I got it. I got it within 2 weeks. I was divinely led to a podcast about holistic health. It's called Learn True Health, and it's hosted by Ashley James. And I started just absorbing all the information I could about what it meant to be a healthy person, mind, body, spirit. I decided to go get my health coaching certification. So I quit my job, and well, that's not true. I did the certification while I was in a job, while taking care of a baby, while taking care of a house. I was like all over the place, right? But I knew that my goal was to be a health coach. And I thought it was just going to be like nutrition and diet related. But the more I learned, the more I discovered how much emotional health factors in, how much spiritual health factors into overall health. And so as I went on this journey, I started just divinely getting clients and helping them on their journeys. And with huge success for me, for my clients, the things that have happened, it's not just, I've had clients reverse things like type 2 diabetes, allergies, chronic gut issues. They've lost upwards of 30 pounds. It's not just that. They feel more spiritually connected, emotionally balanced, in tune with their loved ones. It's been an incredible journey.
Now, when you say you intuitively got clients, I think a lot of marketing guys would like to know your secret there.
It was divine. It was literally like my mom told one person one day, hey, my daughter's doing this thing. And they're like, oh, I got to do that. And then that person referred somebody and that person referred somebody else. It was, I do marketing. Even though I was in marketing, I literally had a marketing job. I've always hated marketing.
Oh, I'm glad you were in the marketing department if you hated marketing.
I think I needed to. I think maybe God put me there so I could learn a little something about running my own business, which I do now. So I'm not a total idiot at marketing, but it's not my favorite.
Well, sure. I got to ask you, if 2 years ago you were talking to a God that you didn't even know existed, what was the metamorphosis from then until now? Because you are very, very, did I say very connected? You are very connected.
Yeah. So I guess I started to notice about a year ago. There was a Theta healer who one of my clients mentioned did a lot of helpful work for her, and I just became very interested. And so I signed up for a session with her, and it was expensive. But the one session I thought it was expensive at the time. My money mindset was a little different. But it was such an impactful session. I felt all this energy release out of my body. I had what I called like an elephant in my throat. I felt that elephant come off my throat. And just 2 months later, I was actually able to get the courage to finally leave my marriage. I really attribute it to that work, to releasing the negative energy, negative beliefs. And so I knew that something called Theta Healing existed, but I never presumed that I would be a Theta healer or an energy healer. It was just something like, oh, that's a different world. But what happened was I ended up signing up for this Theta healer's email list. And I felt like every email she wrote, every mass email was directed to me. Like just the specifics of it, it felt like she was weirdly writing to me. And I emailed her back one day and I was like every email like really resonates with me. What's going on? And she said, there's a reason I write what I write. And so she started advertising the class and I knew I had to take the class. Just intuitively, instinctually, every fiber of my being was like, oh my God, you have to sign up for this class. I sign up, I discover I have intuitive capabilities beyond my wildest dreams. And the thing is, we all have intuitive capabilities. We all have a connection to source. What I think makes mine stronger is I put in the work to make my body extremely healthy and strong. As I fixed my gut health, my intuition strengthened, and so my connection to source strengthened. So the healthier I got physically, the more open I was to divine guidance. So I think that was a huge part in my connection.
What is Theta Healing?
Yes, so Theta Healing, it's a form of energy healing. Basically, the practitioner goes into a meditation where the practitioner, in this case me, connects to God or source, life force, spirit, whatever you would like to call it. And then I am gifted with divine guidance on how to work with the person in front of me, how to witness a healing on them. And that might be a physical healing. It might be like an emotional healing. It might be reversing a limiting belief. And when I will take that limiting belief and I will witness it exiting your body. And then I will witness a new belief entering its place. So that's Theta Healing. And it looks different. Every session is different for every person. It's just how I am guided by source to impact the person. Mm-hmm.
I got to ask, because I've got my own ideas about the other side and the folks that are guiding me, but do you feel like I feel like I've got a boardroom full of people and there is a picture in the middle, like a TV set in the middle of the boardroom, and everybody's gathered around and they're looking at what I'm doing and where I'm going, and they're plotting and they're planning and they're putting all of that stuff together so that it comes a certain way and it comes to you. Is that how, does that how it work for you?
Yeah, I don't know about the boardroom, but I believe that everything happens for a reason. And often the things that are happening to us are to help us learn a lesson in this life. So sometimes bad things happen to us and we think, oh, what was me, right? But I like the question, how is this happening for me? Like, how come I am faced with this challenge? What am I supposed to learn? And I think that our guides and source and even our guardian angels are all planning and working for us to get us where we're supposed to go. But we have free will as humans. So it's up to us to pay attention to the signs, to be open. And that's what I help people do too, is remove these blocks so that they can be more open to the signs that the universe is sending them.
I believe that there are markers in that we have pre-set up in our lifetime of things, of directions that we're going to go, people that we're going to meet, how things play out. And if you are not in tune to it, you can miss the markers.
Absolutely.
And if you're in tune, you accept the markers, and then these are things that can actually have a cataclysmic change in your life.
100%. 100%. Like the thing, like I'm going through a divorce right now. I just, got out of a relationship. And it's like, thank God for everything that I've learned, because it's an easy divorce. It's so easy, and like, I don't mean to brag, but it's just when your viewpoint changes and when you start to change your beliefs into more positive beliefs, everything falls into place.
Brag really here, brag. Go ahead. You're good.
Oh, I'm in mediation. We're going to be divorced soon. It's, we're both, I think, getting things that we want. Yeah, it's friendly. Like, yes, there's a part of Theta Healing too. It's releasing things like resentment and fear. And so once I let that go, everything just flowed so much easier.
When you're in the flow, as it were, and life becomes a tremendously easy thing, or a easier thing to work with than if you are wallowing in fear, which includes hate and all the negative emotions, so that you can live life better, and the whole thing changes. You make better decisions. It's easier. You're in the flow. It's it's really important work that you are helping people do. Now, when you're talking with somebody's coming to sit in front of you, and they've got their guides with them, and you've got your guides, are they all conspiring together to help you be able to help the person that's sitting in front of you?
I think so, but the way I work is a little bit different. I think than some like psychic mediums talking to spirit guides. I talk directly to source or God. Like I have talked to spirit guides. I have talked to guardian angels. I have that capability, but why not go to the highest power? So that's where, like, if I'm sitting with somebody, that's who I'm communicating with. I'm communicating with source. But sometimes, for fun, I will talk to somebody's guardian angels. Or actually, that's not true. Sometimes the guardian angels will insert themselves in my session. And I've had that happen before. There's like, oh, I want to say something. But they're not like always there or that I can see them. It's sort of like they come when they are needed.
Exactly. Well, I kind of think of it like God is delegating to your people that are around you. So he is imminently involved with everything, and also your guides and your angels. If I tend to think of them as the same, just different levels of consciousness and abilities, and so they're all learning and they're working, and he's guiding them at the same time as source, or source energy is guiding all of it
Yeah.
And he is delegating certain aspects to different individuals based upon their skills and their experience when they either were here or somewhere else, but they were having a physical existence at that time. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes total sense. And I think there's a lot of truth to it. It feels true. Yeah.
See, there you go. I'm not.
Yes, our angels are chosen for us for a reason too. And we actually have the power to upgrade our angels too, and to change who we want as guides. That's something that I can ask for as well.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? And they have no ego around it. So they're like, well, that's not quite my forte, but here's my brother John.
I have a strong attachment to one of my angels who I've had since my whole life. I can't even imagine letting him go, because I played with him when I was a child. He's been there for me when I've been in my darkest moments. Like, I felt his presence, even when I didn't believe in God, or I wasn't as connected. Like, there was one night where I was really struggling with my interstitial cystitis. You know, I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I was so anxious, and I just I wanted something. I wanted a support. And my husband at the time just rolled over in bed fast asleep and wrapped his arms around me. And I knew it wasn't him. I knew it was my guardian angel. His name's Wago. And I was just so overwhelmed. Like, that inner knowing, I knew who it was. Yeah. So the idea of letting Wago go is just, I can't do it. I can't.
And he is, or she, or whatever.
Wago's a he. Yeah.
But they're there to support us in every possible way with just complete love in their heart. And someday when you're in 100 years, when your time here is over, you're going to meet him on the other side, and it's going to be a glorious love fest.
It already is a glorious love fest. Angels are the most loving things. Whenever I talk to somebody's angels, I just get a huge smile on my face because I feel their love. It's so amazing. But you're right. It's gonna be a love explosion.
That's a really good way to put it. Okay, so I'm gonna put you to work here. Do I, have any angels that you can talk to and stuff?
Yeah, I could connect. I don't. Would you like to connect and speak to your angels?
Let's get a sampling of your work, because what I want people to be able to do, to go to hold on, let me look at this. You have a very complicated website. It's alyssahawn.com. And so that's really easy for you to find. It's a beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
And so it's Alyssa, ALYSSAHAWN.com.
Mm-hmm.
And also, all you got to do is Google her, and you come up first. Did you know that?
That's why I chose. I used to be Alyssa Hamilton in my marriage, and I went back to my maiden name, Alyssa Hawn, so I could be more Googleable.
And you are. I never thought of that, but I'm stuck with the name I've got, unfortunately. And there's a actor in Canada that's also a Kevin McDonald, so he gets front, but Positive Talk Radio is on the front of Google and stuff like that. So yeah. It's okay. That's okay. But I wanted to give people a sense for what it's like to work with you.
Yeah, and absolutely, and we did a session too.
Yes,
you and I did, and you could talk about that as well. What that's like.
I was thoroughly impressed with the session that we did. Now, first of all, if you're new to Positive Talk Radio, I've got 633 episodes up. I've interviewed John Edward. I've interviewed Neil Donald Walsh. I've interviewed lots and lots and lots of people. I've interviewed tons of psychics. I've probably been a part of 1,000 readings or so of mediums and so forth. And so I'm hard to impress. I was impressed.
I'm glad I didn't know that before.
Well, I started off 18 years ago with a show with Positive Talk Radio, and I had a psychic medium. Her name is Kim Miller. very gifted, very talented lady, and she was on the show all the time. So we would spend 2 hours doing readings for people, and we did seminars, and we did a lot of stuff. John Edward is terrific. Also John Holland is another one that I've interviewed a ton, but you are as good as anyone because you are plugged into source in a way that a lot of people aren't, because of who you are and how simple that you present yourself without the ego, without all the stuff, and so you're really talented at what you do, and you're really plugged in.
Thank you.
And that's no baloney, folks. That's really that really is true, from my perspective. And I've been around the block, so you should be number one. If I was you, I'd be humbled, and I'd also be eternally grateful for the gifts that you have been given.
100%. I feel so fortunate, without a doubt. But I think what's cool too is anybody can do this.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. However, you have to get out of your own way.
You have to get out of your own way. You have to put in the work. That's true. It's not like it comes easily. Every day I practice every day. I'm like just eating as well as I can, taking care of my body, exercising, getting rest, just doing my best to get closer to source. So yeah, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
But it's also a very uplifting experience, isn't it?
It's so uplifting. Oh, it eases so much anxiety to know that there are guides and angels and a God up there looking out for you. Yeah.
And when we talk about God, source, universe, however you would like to term it, this is not a religious thing. There is no dogma attached to it. There is no specific rules. You get to go within. This is the beautiful thing about what I love about modern spirituality, is you get to go within and determine what that means for you.
Yeah.
If you stay open and you allow the universe to come into your space, it will tell you how it will manifest for you. Do you believe that to be true?
I do. I think this work includes every religion.
I agree.
Yeah.
And with the basic premise, which is what this show is based on. This show is based on two things. Number one, we are all one. We are all from the same place. We all have the same energy. We all have the same source. And the other one is that we need scratch need, that we should love each other like we love ourselves, and we should be kind, and we should take care of one another regardless of what they look like, regardless of the person that they love. We should treat people with kindness and respect always, and that is in every religion that is out there, and those two concepts. And if we were to adhere to those concepts, the world would be a much nicer place to be around, don't you think?
It would be, but I also feel a lot of compassion for people, because in some ways it's choiceless. Like, we've inherited beliefs about certain peoples. We hold prejudices that we don't even know that we have, or we think that we don't. So I understand, but that's why, we're doing the work that we're doing, so that people can become more conscious and aware, of what's holding them back.
And there are times, I'm also a firm believer that there are times when people are designed and destined to be who they are at this life. And if they're asleep, then they're going, that's okay too. I had a good friend that I was, he was training me when I was in Arkansas. Now, Arkansas is a different place than the West Coast. And it really is a lot more opinionated, and they go back into the 1800s and all that kind of stuff. And so we were actually in downtown Fort Smith, Arkansas, and he was showing me around the place. It was lunchtime, and I wanted to see Did you ever see the movie that involved the hanging judge? Did you ever hear that term, the hanging judge?
No.
He was an old West judge that got the reputation of being the hanging judge because apparently he hung a lot of folks that had either committed horse thievery or robbery or whatever. And so I wanted to see the courthouse and stuff. So we were at a street light, and there was a crosswalk in front of us. The light was red, and I was looking around because the architecture is a lot of it was straight out of the 1800s, hadn't changed much since the 1850s and 60s. And so I'm looking around, and I hear this guy, the guy who's training me. I hear him say, "Well, that's a goddamn shame." And I'm looking around and saying, what? And then I saw crossing the street was a black man and a white woman holding hands, walking across the street. And I accepted the fact that I wasn't going to ever be able to change his mind about that, but I could still care for him and love him at where he was.
Absolutely.
And hope that down the road he would have an epiphany and he would recognize that that's okay. That's not only okay, they're expressing love to one another. That's perfect. And so you take people where they are. And I know the work that you work to help people understand where they are because they come to you with probably two fundamental questions. Number one, they come to you with health problems.
Yes.
I feel stuck. I feel crappy. I can't get out of my own way. I can't do the things that I'd like to do. And then you can guide them and help them and give them exercises and things for them to do to help themselves, right?
Yes. So I do, do nutrition, I do food, exercise, stress, all the physiological things. I like to start there actually, because just like I mentioned before, like once I started getting my physical health in order, I became more in tune with my intuition and spirit. That's where I start with my clients as well, as we always start with nutrition. That's number one.
That's the foundation. You have a physical body. You're having a physical experience. You're a spirit in a physical body, but the foundation of it is a physical body. And some of us don't learn that lesson until it's way too late.
It's never too late. It's never too late. My oldest client is almost 70. So you can, at any age.
Well, I'm almost 70, but you did help me in the first thing, the first meeting that we had, and I really appreciate that. But like I said, I've had 10 surgeries. I've had both my hips replaced. I've had my back surgery and shoulder surgery and elbow surgery. I've been operated quite a little bit. And so there is residue from that, but I feel like I've released most everything that's negative that was in my life earlier. Because I feel, even though I'm a little limited physically, I feel better than I have in years. So.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that amazing how much our emotions affect our physical health?
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. It's wild. It's so wild. And people don't think it. They say, oh no, I know it's something physical. I know it's like my back hurts because it's my desk chair, or, like I did the yard work and now it hurts forever. Like, no. Wrong. The body has a wonderful ability to heal itself. It's you got to take a look in here, in your heart and your liver, and where you're storing things like resentment and anger and hatred. Like, that's where you have to look.
And there are things that you can keep in your heart and in your mind for years. Absolutely, for years. When I got divorced, that was that whole scenario, and it wasn't as gentle and as kind as what apparently you're going through. But I had anger and resentment for that for years. I would hide it and put it away, and it never came out very much. But whenever I would think about all the things and what I was feeling at that time, it would come out as really bad anger. And stuff, but really, honestly, since I've started doing the show again, that's all gone away, and I'm okay.
Beautiful. You're receiving a healing every time you do an episode.
You know
Yeah.
what's I'll tell you what's interesting about that, Alyssa, is that I do. When
Yeah.
when
I
I
believe
have
it.
when I have a great conversation with somebody like you, it's like it's a boost of energy that I receive from it. And then when we have the opportunity to impact somebody else in a positive
Mhm.
way, that's all I care about. That's all I want. And if we could do that, and I know your work, and that's why I want to hitch my wagon to your wagon, because I want you to be a regular part of the show. I think you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Back at you. It's a mutual admiration society.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's fun because 2.5 years ago, none of this existed. Again, I had put it
Mhm.
to bed in 10 years before that and was driving a bus, but the good Lord stepped in again and had me do it. Well, let me ask you. Tell me if you think. Well, I know. No, never mind. I know the answer to it already.
Okay.
Because, and you don't even know what I'm going to say,
No.
but when I started this show again, I was driving driving a King County bus in Seattle. So I was driving one of those 60-foot articulated bus all over the place. And I did that for 12 years because I needed to earn money again because my production company had failed. And, but I wanted to do this, and technology caught up. So where I could do this and it's not nearly as expensive as it was at that time. And then I said something that you probably need to be careful to say. I said, I don't want to work anymore. I want to do this full time.
Mm-hmm.
And so my son and I were out and about, and we ended up in a 55 plus mobile home community. We looked at a couple of places. The real estate agent happened to be there, so we looked at a couple of places, and then she stopped at a mobile home that she didn't even represent. And she said, well, I don't represent this, but I thought you might like to see it. And so I bought it because it was perfect and the price was perfect and everything worked out just perfectly. And then I moved in February 2 years ago, and I was moving in, and I was going to create my office, which is the studio and stuff. But then I fell. Moving in my deck out front, I fell and tore my rotator cuff. And I mean, I tore it off. And so it had to surgically be repaired. And then a month and a half after that, I was babysitting my son's brand new Doberman, or not Doberman, Labrador. And he got in amongst my feet, and I fell again and tore my tricep muscle on the other side that had to be surgically repaired and stuff. And so I could no longer work.
Yes, you manifested that, I guess.
I did.
I'm a big believer in manifestation. I do that work too.
I manifested it, and people would say, yeah, but didn't that hurt? And I said, well, yeah, but that was the only way that I was going to stop
Mm-hmm.
doing what I was doing. And they made it impossible for me to continue to do what I was doing. So now I got the opportunity to do this, and financially it worked out fine and all that kind of good stuff. So it was, but I believe that was a gift from God, from source.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So just as my interstitial cystitis was a gift from source, imagine if I didn't have it, what would I be doing? I'd probably be, I don't know, a chef. I was a chef before I was in marketing.
Oh,
So,
very nice. I was in the restaurant business for 30 years. So, but
yeah.
I'm surprised that you can actually even pronounce that. What is it again?
Interstitial cystitis.
Nope, not even going to go there. Don't have a shot. So
Yeah,
what
it's becoming more and more popular, unfortunately, as more and more women get diagnosed.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
terrible. Now, did that have to do anything with the pregnancy?
No, I actually had bladder struggles my entire life, believe it or not. So it just got worse and worse and worse as I got older. The pregnancy was the worst it ever was. And then it got better after I gave birth, and then worse again about after I stopped breastfeeding about 8 months after my son was born. So,
Oh, very good. And is your son healthy and happy and a good little boy?
he is. He's a very active little boy. He has a lot of hair. He's 28 months old. He's over 3 feet tall. He's a big kid. Yeah.
Now, you don't look like a huge person.
I'm not a huge person, but I'm 5'7". I'm petite, but and my ex-husband, he's only 5'9", also like not a big man. We have a giant child. I called Max is my son. I called him my little parasite because he was born almost 9 pounds.
Oh God.
And I only gained 16 pounds in that pregnancy. So after I gave birth, the nurses said I have never seen his stomach go that flat. But he took everything. He took everything.
9-pound baby, and you had him naturally?
Yes, I did. And that's a long, complicated story, but it was 36.5-hour labor and it wasn't pleasant. But that's a story for another time.
And fortunately, you tend to forget that over time.
That's what they say. And like I remember telling somebody 2 months ago, I will never forget that. Like that was traumatic. But I'm going to have another child. I already know this intuitively. I have a soul baby flying around me. So it's going to happen. So there's another child in my future.
Well, good for you. And I wish you a lot of love and a lot of happiness and a great marriage and a great family and all that kind of good stuff. So
thanks.
Because you deserve it. And you really are doing really quite well. So let's talk about your work some more.
Okay. And then let's make sure we have some time so I can do an angel reading for you. But let's talk about the work.
You are an intuitive healer and coach, and you empower. She empowers you with true health, body, mind, and spirit, because they're all connected.
They're all connected. Health is not just diet and exercise.
How do you work with the toxicity that we are all surrounded by?
Great question. So detoxification, there are many ways to detox. So the way I work with women is I don't have the same protocol for every person, women and men. I work with men too, but it's kind of like what works for you, what fits into your schedule. So a part of that is education. So I educate people on the importance of your liver. Your liver is like a sieve that filters through all the gunk, all the pesticides, chemicals, toxicity that we ingest. And so we got to treat our liver with love. And so sometimes that means I will do a theta healing session with the person where I specifically focus on the liver. I also, if they feel like they have the capacity to do a detox diet, I will empower them with recipes and a protocol for them to do that. I'm a big fan of Chlorella. If you've ever heard of Chlorella, it's a form of algae. It's food, but it's a chelator. It binds to heavy metals in your body and pulls them out through your stool. So cutting your liver a break. So, but I just recommend like the Chlorella is high quality, organic. I have a brand that I love specifically. I have no affiliation with them. They're called Energy Bits, if anybody's interested. This is algae that's used by professional athletes. It's very cleanly sourced. It tastes pretty good too. The only thing is it stains your teeth, but it comes in tablet form, so you can swallow it like a supplement if that's better for you. So yeah, those are just examples, but I always tailor what I offer to the individual that I'm working with because everybody is different. And I also use human design in my coaching. So you've had Kayla Mason on the show multiple times. She's an excellent friend of mine, a human design coach. She has taught me a lot about human design. So I take the energy blueprints of the people I work with. I study them. I learn, okay, how can I best coach this person? So I'm not giving them a protocol that is directly opposed to how their energy presents.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot that I take into account. It's very individualized, I would say.
Now, I know how old you are, and I know that you started this like 2 years ago, but you are very, very learned in your protocols and what you do. Is it that you've picked that up in the last 2 years, or was there a history behind that? I know you were a chef. You see, the difference between a chef and a cook is a cook gets paid less, and there's like I was a short order cook at Denny's when I was a kid, and stuff. But where did you get all this information from? Have you just been studying like crazy for the last 2 years?
Well, yes and no. I've always been interested in health. So I always studied health, but I never got the full picture because what the mainstream presents at health or of health is only a limited picture. So also a lot of this stuff comes intuitively to me because I was a shaman in a couple of my previous lives. I think this is just naturally, I've known this information before. So I think that's why it's very easy for me to absorb. But yeah, so I don't know, it just comes easily to me. I'm all the time listening to podcasts, trying to brush up on the latest science. And, you know, while also doing the spiritual work helps too. Also having a connection to source also helps a lot, because sometimes before my sessions, if I'm really stumped on, you know, what do I do for this person in this session, I will go up and ask, and I will be told what to do. So, you know, and so sometimes it means, okay, I got to go study before I go to this person, right?
Absolutely, yeah, I guess so. But you're very gifted at what you do, and you're very learned about how the protocols work and how to put it together for people. So that's great. So you work on the physical side, and then you have to work on the mind, I would imagine, because the mind can pollute us into doing some really not very nice things to ourselves.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes. And that's where Theta Healing comes in. One other thing that's coming to mind right now is that I haven't done this with all clients, but identifying what your core values are, and taking ego out of it, like taking out what's going to make me a cool person, what's going to make me a popular person, and being like, what's really important to you. Finding your values and then filtering everything you do through those values too is incredibly helpful. It's been so helpful, and for me making the decisions about what I want to do. It's helped me make boundaries with people where before I had no boundaries. You know, I felt I was such a codependent. I felt like I needed to, like, everybody's needs came before mine. Everybody's, right?
That from what I understand is a common problem with women. Is that's in many cases that's how you were raised. You were supposed to cook the meals, keep the house clean, raise the children, get them to school, do all the stuff, and oh, by the way, go to soccer practice, which you got ahead of you, so wait for that, and all of those things, and taking care of yourself is the last thing on the list, and that's generally the one that gets left off the list because you run out of time.
Every time, almost every person who comes to me does not make the time for self-care. But what also is important with self-care is self-love too. You have to love yourself. And those are two different things, self-care and self-love. But yeah, also I think you left off the list too, even, you know, trying to be a good partner is another one. It's like an impossible list of things that you have to do. It's so hard. Yeah, and a part of me for a long time thought there's no way I could have it all. But that was a limiting belief, you know?
Yes.
So that's, you know, so getting rid of those beliefs, I think, and also when I do that, it's on people, it's not like I'm getting rid of the limiting belief and replacing it with a new belief. A lot of times I'm guided to dig with the person to ask, you know, when was the first time you remember feeling like this? Who were you with? Where were you? Why did this happen? So that way you can get a learning from it. And it's, there's no, it's like not, I guess, spiritual bypass. It's like, I bring my clients into it. They know like why something started, right? And once they have that awareness, once they make that connection, it becomes much easier to release those limiting beliefs and to instill the virtues and the learnings necessary to move forward.
I believe that's really is the only way to heal.
Yeah.
Is to bring it out, look at it, analyze it, determine why it makes you feel the way you do, and then to have the guts to let it go.
Yes. Yeah, and theta healing is so beautiful too, because sometimes our subconscious will try and block us from airing it out and putting it on the table, right? Like I have people who will try and circumvent the issue. I'll ask them when was the first time, and they'll just sort of veer off. And it's not like they're intentionally trying to do this. It's just difficult to face. So having that connection to source, it's like I will be told, nope, they're circumventing the issue. And so I have to get them on the right track. Yeah.
So a lot of people are feeling like they are sitting there in their underwear in front of you because you get down to the real issues involved.
In a way, but I have to get permission.
Yeah.
For anything that I do, I ask your permission. So it's not like I can come there. I can feel your energy. Like when I meet a person for the first time, I can tell, I think we all can, like, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, like you're anxious or you're excited, right? You can read a person. I can do that. But in terms of getting to the innermost parts of your mind, I need to ask your permission first.
Exactly. Well, and we all have energy, and we all output energy. Mm-hmm. And I'm told that I have quite a lot of energy.
You have a ton of energy. Yes.
and by the way, Kayla, when she did the I forget what it's called again.
Human design reading.
The human design reading. She pointed that out. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I just love to do this, and it's so much fun to talk to people like you. You are so talented. I keep saying that. You'd think I was trying to date you or something.
But are you?
No, I'm old enough to be
I'm single.
No. I'm not quite old enough to be your grandpa, but I'm certainly old enough to be your daddy.
I'm not looking for love right now.
I don't blame you.
Self-love. I'm looking for self-love.
Well, and you know what'll happen is it's going to just pop its head up when you're least expected. And it's going to be the right guy because with all the work you've done. And by the way, if you're listening to this now or later, go ahead, say.
Kevin, it's not going to be the right guy. I'm going to tell you why. I already know this. I already know I'm going through a series of, I have learning lessons in this area. So I have more suitors ahead of me that I'm going to have to filter through and learn from. But eventually I will find him. I will find the right one.
That doesn't sound like fun at all.
It is actually, it's tremendously fun because there's a learning lesson. And now that I know that there's a learning lesson at the end of it, even things that feel yucky, that feel bad, once I have a little space, I can look back on it and look at the patterns and be like, oh, I need to work on this. Yeah. And it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to read the patterns, and that's something that I've learned how to do. And I really want everybody to learn how to do this work because it's so powerful.
But you have to be enthusiastic about it to really embrace it, which is what you've done.
Yes.
And then it can come into its full power.
Yes. Yeah. It's helpful. It's helpful to work too with a coach or somebody like me or Kayla too, who've understood how to do this work too and can help you. So that way, and then you can go help other people, and there's a ripple effect created.
Exactly. It's like I one of my other advertisers is a coach, and a gentleman asked me one time, so how does this work? You have a coach that you run a commercial for, and then you have coaches that come on to the show. And I said, well, there are 335 million people in the United States, and we all need a coach. Mm-hmm. And we all need somebody, and people resonate with different people.
100%. Yeah.
And by the way, one of my philosophies is there's enough. So if you're operating from a position of lack, okay, then maybe not. But if you're operating from a position of abundance, then there's enough for everybody.
Yes. I love that.
So given that, I promised that I'd play this commercial. So let me do this real quick.
Okay.
Have you ever said, how did I do this again? Want to create your own powerful life? Well, Allison Roberts can help resolve the issues that keep repeating by creating a new outcome. She is one of the top 100 coaches in the world and will help you achieve your dreams. Email her at allison@allisonroberts.com or visit allisonroberts.com and receive a free guided meditation and discover all of her ongoing programs and events. And by the way, what did you think of that commercial?
Pretty. I like her website.
And that's one of the new things that we are doing at Positive Talk Radio. We can now do audio commercials and video commercials, and we can do all kinds of stuff. So we can be very helpful to somebody, and that commercial will stay in this episode forever. So as long as somebody's out there, she may look different down the road, but if the commercial will stay here forever. So we're moving right along. So before we go away, I gotta ask you, because I want to make sure that my guides and angels are happy with the direction that I'm going, and that this is what I should be doing and how I should be doing it, and see what they say, if they've got.
Yeah.
And they're actually lining up going, all right, you asked for it.
I already feel the excitement. I already feel it. Yes. So one thing I do, and that I would love to do for you and the listeners. So as before most of my Theta Healing sessions, not always, I will guide people through a quick meditation. And this meditation is going through the 7 planes of existence to get to source. And it not only helps me connect, it helps the person I'm doing the healing on connect. So would you like to come with me? It'll be a short meditation. I don't think it'll be longer than a minute.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good.
Okay. So I'm going to sit a little bit to the side so that way I'm out of your energy field. Kevin, do I have permission to do a reading and a healing on you? Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's go. And people listening in, you are welcome to close your eyes and find a place to sit and engage in this meditation as well.
Unless you're driving.
Unless you're driving, then please don't do that. Pull over. All right, so go ahead and center yourself in your chair. And I want you to expand your heart energy across the room. And you're going to take all the stale energy from your body and send it down your body, down your legs, out through the bottoms of your feet, down to the center of the earth. And now you're going to draw up fresh Mother Earth energy up through the bottoms of your feet, through your legs, lighting up all your chakras in your torso and out the top of the crown of your head. And at the crown of your head, you're going to notice a big, beautiful ball of light. See what color it is, and go ahead and step inside. You are safe and protected in here. And now you're going to rise up out of your space, up in the sky, higher and higher, through the atmosphere, past the stars, through the galaxy, past all the galaxies, into a series of bright lights. And you'll see the bright lights turn into dark lights, back into bright lights, higher and higher, into a golden light of the angels and masters. I like to high five an angel when I head up. You can do that, or you can keep going higher and higher into a jelly-like substance that is all the colors of the rainbow. You'll see shapes and numbers. You'll hear sounds. Keep going higher and higher into a pink mist. This is the law of compassion. Keep going. Allow that mist to gently raise you up higher and higher until you see a bright, white, pearly, iridescent light. This is the light of God, the Creator. Go up into that light where you're going to sit safe and protected. And just hang out here for a minute. Okay, Kevin, I'm seeing one angel in particular. It's a woman. She has lots of beautiful curly blonde hair. And you would just like me to ask her what I think about your path? Anything that I should let you know? Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So she said, she said the caliber of your guests are improving. She said she loves you very much, by the way. And yeah, she says you're doing wonderful work. Yeah, and she's very proud of you. And I'm just going to ask her if there's anything you could be doing better. She says you need more time to rest, that you're pushing too hard. That, that quantity is not necessarily quality here. Does this resonate with you? What do you have to say about this, Kevin?
I couldn't agree more on several fronts. One is that the quality of my guests are improving and they are bringing better guests to me. And I believe that's by divine design. But at the same time, I do too many of these rather than focusing on, and my executive producer has told me this time and time again, focusing on quality rather than quantity.
Okay. And she's saying, listen to them. To let go, to evaluate what is, she says, all of these light you up. Everything, you love it all, but what do you love the most? What is the most impactful? Pay attention to your audience. What audience is most excited? Pay attention to that and go in that direction.
The audience that I truly feel drawn to are when we do shows like this. This is the direction that I'm most passionate about and that I think can be most impactful to people. Now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask her a question, which is, I have always said, I will create these to the best of my ability. It's your job to market them. Am I giving them too much responsibility?
No. No, that was very clear. No, she's saying, don't underestimate the power of God. Don't underestimate.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
But I have a patience problem.
Divine timing. That's something to Kevin, if you would like to work on. Actually, Kevin, yes, let's do it now. So give me a second. I'm just gonna connect back to source real quick. Okay, so I mean, this is a bigger thing than what we can do in 10 minutes, but I will, as a sampling, Kevin, can creators show you creators' highest truth and perspective of what divine timing is, how to recognize divine timing, how to appreciate divine timing? Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Good. Oh, good. So I guess for your audience, what I'm doing now, how this works is I witness the installation of this, of divine timing into Kevin's body, if that makes sense. So I'm co-creating with Source for this to happen. And Kevin might feel a surge of energy happen in his body. So I have a gift where I can feel what's going on in other people's bodies. So when I did that, for example, I felt something happen in your gut shift. So that's, so just so people understand, because it's hard to see, right? You can hear it.
Right.
Yeah. So let me see what else. Oh, no. Okay. One more thing. It's 6 o'clock. I have to go soon. So, but let me finish it up. All right. Yeah, and Kevin, we're gonna give you a patience download too. So can creators show you what creators' highest truth and perspective of patience is, what it means to have patience, how to have patience, that you already know how to have patience? Is that okay?
Yes.
And Kevin, you have more work to do with the patience stuff. And maybe that's something we can do on a future episode if people want to see what that is like in a longer version, because you have work to do. So I'm now going to integrate the very few things that we worked on across all time and space and every language ever spoken with grace and with ease. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So now go ahead and I want you to shower off in a sparkly shower of light, Kevin, and then draw in fresh Mother Earth energy through your feet. This is called grounding. I would love to talk about grounding sometime in the future too, because I think it would benefit many of your listeners. But okay. All right. And that's a sampling.
Dan, thank you so much for that, because that is the work that you showed me before, and it's just extraordinary work. And so you say I have a lot of work to do, and we got to do that another time. I get that because you got to go, but is it good work or? It's
good work. It's belief work. I'm being guided, and we didn't do any of that today, but I'm being guided. Well, actually, hold on. Let me just check in. Yeah, it's ancestral. It's ancestral belief work. So I don't think we got into this today. We hold our beliefs on different levels. We inherit beliefs from our ancestors. Sometimes beliefs develop in this lifetime. Sometimes they're in past lives. But so we have some ancestral work for you to do.
I want you to be on the show a lot. I want you to be on KKNW. I know you got to go. So, by the way, we have been talking with Alyssa Hawn. Go to alyssahawn.com. And is it, how do they get a hold of you? How do they email you?
Sure. So you can go on my website. There's a contact page.
Oh,
you can
yeah, it's right
contact
there.
me through there. Also on the Work With Me page, you can book sessions directly with me depending on what your interest is. I do health coaching, but I also do just individual theta healing, human design sessions, and also nutrition and supplement coaching.
She is nothing short of amazing, and I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stick you and Kayla on the show one of these days, and it's going to blow the roof off is what it's going to do.
Oh, we would love that. We would love that.
Absolutely. If you'll wait right there, Alyssa, I'll be right back. I've got to do this, and then... Hey, thanks for enjoying this episode all the way to the end. Please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. This has been a production of PositiveTalkRadio.net. Please visit our website, oddly named PositiveTalkRadio.net, for more details about us and our mission, which is to provide great positive programming designed to inspire us all. I'm Kevin McDonald, and I'm proud of these shows, and I truly hope that you'll like them and share them with friends and family. So on behalf of our entire team, remember, be kind to one another, because